A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I hope you're all doing very well and ready for today's class. As always, we're going to start with reading a prayer from the Holy Quran. So I'm going to ask one student to read this prayer for me. And 44, Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam. And 44, just hang on 1 minute for me, thank you. Okay, let me just, okay, and 44, can you please read this prayer for me, please? So repeat after me. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem.
I know it myself.
Say that again, please.
I know how to read it.
Okay, then off you go. You can read it yourself. Excellent, shabash, well done. And the translation, please?
Oh my Lord, increase me
in knowledge. Excellent, well done. And 44, your voice is a bit quiet. Can you try coming closer to the mic, please? Can you say something now? Read this this translation for me again, please.
Oh my Lord, increase me in knowledge.
Excellent, that's much better. I can hear you now. And what's the reference over here?
Taha.
Surah Taha, excellent. Verse?
150.
Excellent, well done. Jazakumullah. And 44 for your help. We're going to mute you now.
No.
Okay. So in today's class, we're going to be carrying on with reading from the Holy Quran. Yesterday you did Surah Al-Fatiha, and today we're going to be reading from Surah Al-Baqarah, and we're going to be looking at the first ruku. Okay, so before we start, I'm just going to go through a couple of things with you, and also we're going to be learning about a new rule today. It's very easy, so you should pick it up very quickly. As we all know that, and we've learned before as well, that a sukoon is a symbol that is used to join two letters together, okay? And so, for example, in this first word over here, the sukoon is found on the letter ta, okay? So this ta has a sukoon on top of it, and this means that the ta will be joined onto the previous letter, which is the qaf, okay? This ta is the sakin letter because it has the sakin on top of it, or the sukoon on top of it, okay? So we would read this whole word as khuliqat, khuliqat, okay? So it's a simple joining the two letters together using the sukoon to tell us that we have to join the two letters together, okay? Now, there are 5 letters that if they have a sukoon on top of it, they are read a bit differently, okay? And the 5 letters are highlighted over here at the bottom. Those are qaf, ta, ba, jeen, and dal. So the rule is that whenever you see that these 5 letters, any of them, if they have a sukoon on top of it, then they will be read with a slight jerking sound, okay? Which is not normal with other letters with sukoon on it. For example, over here when we read this, we said khuliqat, khuliqat. I didn't say khuliqat. That would be wrong. But if these 5 letters are found in the Holy Quran, if they have a sukoon on top of it, you would produce a slight jerking sound. So if I read these for you, this would be dhuq, dhuq. Now moving on to here, this would be read as tuhit, tuhit. Okay, so a slight jerking sound would be produced because these 5 letters are special, and if they have a sukoon on top of it, it produces a slight jerking sound. Moving on to this would be read as farghab, farghab. Okay. Now, as you can see, this ra over here, this also has a sukoon on it. But I did not read this with a jerking sound because it is not one of the 5 letters that we are learning about today. However, the ba is a letter that we've learned that if it has a sukoon on top of it, we produce a jerking sound. So we would read this again as farghab. Okay. Moving on. Ukhruj, ukhruj. Lam yalid, lam yalid. Okay, this dal has a sukoon, so we will produce a slight jerking sound. Now, these 5 letters are qalqala letters, okay? The rule that we've learned now is the qalqala rule, okay? And these 5 letters are the qalqala letters. So if you ever find these 5 letters with a sukoon on top of it, you have to produce a slight jerking sound. Okay, and we will see this rule being applied in the ruku that we will be reciting today. Okay, so now I'm going to be playing the recording of this ruku I have in front of me today, and I want you to look out for this qalqala rule that we've learned. So, for example, when we read it, these highlighted words that I have over here, these are all these all include the qalqala rule, okay? So make sure you look out for these when you listen to the recording, okay? So let me play the recording now. I want you to listen carefully and I want you to follow along at home, even though I can't hear you. And then afterwards, inshallah, we will ask students to read for us, okay? Okay, I'm just going to ask if you can hear the audio properly. Just 1 second. Assalamu alaikum and child discipline. Did you hear that audio okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, jazakumullah. Okay, so I'm going to play the recording now. Please follow and listen carefully, okay?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
ألف لام ميم
ألف لام ميم
ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه
ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه
هدى للمتقين
هدى للمتقين
الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون
الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون
والذين يؤمنون بما أنزل إليك وما أنزل من قبلك وبالآخرة هم يوقنون
والذين يؤمنون بما أنزل إليك وما أنزل من قبلك وبالآخرة هم يوقنون
أولئك على هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم المفلحون
أولئك على هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم المفلحون
إن الذين كفروا سواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون
إن الذين كفروا سواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم فأنذرهم لا يؤمنون
ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم
ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم
وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم
وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم.
Okay, now that's the end of the recording. And I hope you listened very carefully to that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask in charge discipline to choose a student, and we'll start reading from the top over here.
Yeah, it's A28.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum, A28.
Alaikum salam.
Okay, did you hear the recording?
Yes.
Okay, so what you are going to do now is I'm going to ask you to start reading from here, and then I'll tell you when to stop, okay? So start by reading A'udhu Billah, and then we can start, okay?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
Excellent.
ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون.
Okay, well done. Jazakumullah. A28, that was really, really good. That was majority of the things you did get right, which was really, really good, okay? Just a couple of things. It's not your fault because we haven't learnt this, but over here, you said La raiba fihi, okay? Now, can you see these 3 dots over here?
Yeah.
And can you see these 3 dots over here?
Yeah.
Yeah. What this means, 3 dots with a word in between and 3 dots, this is something, it's a rule in the Holy Quran, and it means that you should stop at either one of the either one of the dots, okay? So either you stop over here or you stop over here, okay? Or you take a pause over here or over here. Now, in the recording and conventionally, and normally what you do is you would read La Raiba, and then you would stop after over here, okay? So you would take a pause over here. So you would say La Raiba Fi, okay? So the rule of pausing would apply over here. So this ha with the kasra underneath it would become a ha with the sukoon on top of it. So you would read it as La Raiba Fi.
La raiba fi.
Excellent, well done, okay? Now another thing you did, can you please read this for me again, this bit?
Hudan lil muttaqin.
Okay, now you read that excellently, but when you read it first, I think you produced a nasal sound when you read this. You said Hudan lil, okay? Now over here, yes, this is a tanween, this is a double fatha, but because it is joining to the next letter, which is the lam, this ya over here is silent, okay? So you would ignore that. So what you are trying to do is you are trying to join the dal to the lam. In order to do this, you have to drop one of the fathas over here, okay? So this would become a single fatha. So this would become a dal with a simple fatha on top of it. So you would read it as Hudal lil muttaqin.
Hudan lil muttaqin.
Excellent, well done. That's really, really good. And I think there was one more thing over here. وَمِمَّا, you did the mim gunna excellently, but you have to prolong this mim gunna sound because there's an alif in front of it, okay? So it would be وَمِمَّا.
وَمِمَّا.
Excellent. I think you just said that for 1 second, or because you have to do this for 2 seconds because you have an alif in front of it, okay? So that was it. And also pay attention to this one over here. Now over here, we just learned about the qalqala rule, and the qaf is part of the 5 qalqala letters. Okay? So
Okay.
what did I say? What do you have to do over here? If a
Want to join?
sorry?
Want to join them?
Yes, we have to join them. But do you remember I said over here that when the qalqala letters come, you have to produce a slight jerking
Soft
sound.
voice.
Sorry, say that again?
Soft voice.
Yes, you have to say a soft jerk sound, okay? So you
Okay.
have to kind of say, for example, over here, this is one of the 5 qalqala letters are qaf, ta, ba, jim, and dal, okay?
Okay.
And over here, the qaf is here, okay? And the qaf is one of the 5 qalqala letters. And the qalqala letters are the letters with a sukoon on top of it, okay? So you would
Okay.
put small, like a slight jerking sound. So you would say, razaqnahum.
وَرَزَقْنَاهُمْ.
Excellent, you did that perfectly, okay? So that was everything. Otherwise, you did that really, really well, mashallah, okay? A28, that was really good. Okay, Jazakumullah for your help. We're going to move on to the next student now.
It's N35.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum, N35.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Did you hear the recording?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So we've read the first 3 verses. I'm going to ask you to read the next 2 verses for me, okay? So start from here, read your A'udhu Billah, and then we'll move on, okay?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والذين يؤمنون
Yeah.
بما أنزل إليك وما أنزل من قبلك.
Try that one again. How would you say this?
قبلك
Okay, well done.
وبالآخرة هم يوقنون.
Okay, Jazakumullah. And 35, I'm going to stop you there. We're just going to go through this verse first, and then we'll move on to the second one, okay? So you read well done. Use a good effort. Some points you need to make sure you remember and keep in your head is that this one over here, you read this as walla, okay? This, what does this lam have on top of it?
أشد
Yes, shadda, and then on top of that?
أفتح.
A fatha. And how long should a fatha be pronounced for?
1 second.
Excellent. So can you try reading that again?
Walla.
Walla. Because of the shadda, you have to join the waw with the lam with force. And then because of the fatha, you only say it for 1 second. Walla. Walladhina.
والذين.
This dhal over here, try say it with the correct pronunciation, which is you touch your tongue to your top teeth. The. Walladhina.
والذين.
Dhina. Excellent. Okay, so your tongue should touch the tip of your teeth, and it should come out a little bit. Dhina. Okay, well done. That was really good. Over here, could you read this again for me?
إلا.
Yeah, okay. Can you read this full word for me, please?
إلاك.
This is read as ilayka. Yes, because it's a lam with a fatha, which is followed by a ya. So you have to read this as ilayka. Well done. You have to bring your voice up and then stretch it across to produce the ya. Okay, ilayka. Okay, make sure you practice this. Okay. Well, this was fine. Again, over here, qablika, this is again part of the qalqala. The ba is the letter of the qalqala, and so you have to produce a slight jerking sound, okay? So a ba with a sukoon on top of it is part of the qalqala rule. So you have to say qablika,
qablika,
qablika. Excellent, okay. And then over here, I think you said you did not pronounce this for 2 seconds. You said yuqinun. Okay, this is yuqinun.
yuqinun,
Excellent, excellent. Okay, because this is a waw of elongation, because this is a waw with a sukoon, and before it you have a ya with a dhamma on top of it. So you have to prolong this you sound for 2 seconds. So you say yuqinun.
yuqinun,
Excellent, well done. Now let's move on to the next verse.
ulaika, ala,
Excellent, well done. Let's move on to the next bit. Let's try this. It's a bit difficult, but try, okay?
hudan min rabbihim,
Okay, excellent.
wa ulaika humul
This is a fa, so
muflihun,
muflihun.
muflihun,
Okay, well done. Jazakumullah. Just a couple of things. Over here, this lam, this has a madda on top of it. So you need to prolong this for at least 4 to 6 seconds, okay? So ulaika.
ulaika,
Excellent, okay? I think you said this for around 2 seconds, but it should be said for around 4 to 6 seconds, okay? So as much as you can stretch your breath for, okay? That was one thing. And also, over here, you said, again, this you said hudam, you said hudan first, okay? Now over here, you need to join the dal to the meme. So this, if you read this dal with a tanween on top of it by itself, it would be hudan. But because there's a meme mushaddad afterwards, you have to join the dal to the meme. So what happens is this tanween or this double fatha is ignored and it becomes a single fatha, and you would join this to meme. So it was hudam, hudammi, okay? So it was hudammir rabbihim.
hudan min rabbihim,
Excellent. And you would also ignore this noon nasal sound over here. So you wouldn't say hudammir rabb. So you wouldn't produce a nasal sound over here, because as you've learned before in your assimilation lesson, that if lam or ra mushaddad appears after noon sakin or tanween, no nasal sound will be assimilated into the next letter. Okay? Now over here we can see that we have a ra mushaddad over here. Okay? Ra with the shadda equals ra mushaddad. So before this we have a noon sakin, but we, like it said over here, that no nasal sound will be produced. So we have to ignore this noon sakin over here and straight away join the meme to the ra. So over here it would be hudammir rabbihim.
hudan min rabbihim,
Excellent. And you have to join all these together with force because they are all mushaddad letters. They all have a shadda on top of it, and any letter with a shadda on top of it, you have to join with force. Hudammir rabbihim.
hudan min rabbihim,
Excellent. And one final thing was over here that you said everything very well, but over here, if you're stopping, this noon, because this is a symbol for stopping, and you should stop over here. This noon with the fatha on top of it gets cancelled out, and it becomes a noon with a sukoon on top of it. Okay, so you would read this as humul muflihun.
Humul muflihun.
Excellent. Okay, that was it. Otherwise, you did really well, mashallah. Okay, and 35, that was good.
Jazakillah.
Keep practicing. Okay. Okay, Jazakillah. Can you please have the next student?
It's A11.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum, A11. Assalamu alaikum, A11, are you there? Okay, I think A11 is
Someone
not.
else.
Yes, please.
Okay. It's A14.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, A14. Okay, have you been listening to the class so far?
Yes.
Okay, now can I please ask you to read from here, okay? So read A'udhu Billah and then start from here.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Innallah zina
Yeah.
kafaru sawa Allah mi anzartahum am lam tunzirhum la yu'minu.
Okay, A14, let's go through this verse together and then we'll move on to the next verse, okay? So we started off from here. Over here, you said Inna Allah, okay? This lam over here has a simple fatha on top of it, okay? So we don't prolong this for more than 1 second. So we say Inna Allah.
Innallah.
Okay, this noon over here, you also have to produce that nasal sound. So you have to say Innallah.
Innallah.
Excellent. Hold that noon sound in your nose for around 2 seconds, okay? That was good. Kafaru sawa'un. Okay, this is un. You forgot to say this, okay? This is a hamza with a double dhamma on top of it, okay? So you have to pronounce this as un.
Un.
Okay, I think you forgot to say this. I think maybe because it's a bit smaller than the other letters, you forgot. But make sure that you pronounce this, okay? So it'd be sawa'un.
Sawa'un.
Okay, excellent. And how did you read this? How would you read this again?
Like.
Say this over here. How would you say this?
Like.
Lay. Yes, you would say this as lay. Okay, I think before you were a bit confused on how to say it, but this is alayhim.
Alayhim.
Excellent. Okay, like we've done before as well, you bring your sound up and then across and then straight. Okay, alayhim.
Alayhim.
Excellent. Well done. And I think you read this well as well. And I think there was one thing that, how would you read this? How did you read this?
You.
Okay. Over here, this would be read as you.
You.
Yes, with a slight jerk. Why? Because I think we've had this example before as well of the chair and the person sitting on the chair. Over here, the vowel acts like a chair, and the hamza is the person talking, okay? Or hamza is the sound that you will produce. So the hamza has a sukoon on top of it, so you would pronounce that. You would not pronounce the vowel sound, okay? So it would be you.
You.
Excellent, well done, okay? Yu'minun.
Yu'minun.
Excellent, well done, that's really good. Do you want to try one more time with this verse?
Khatamala.
Okay, try this one again, this verse again, please.
lazina
Innalladhina.
innallazina
Okay, next.
kafaru sawaun alaihim anzaltahum am lam tunzirhum la yu'minuna.
Minun. Again, over here, just like over here, like I said, that this becomes, if you, this square over here means that you have to stop. Okay, so when you stop, the rules of pausing apply. Okay, so this noon with a fatha turns into a noon with a sakin. So you would say yu'minun.
Yu'minun.
Okay, excellent. That was really, really good, A14. Well done. I'm so proud of you. You did really, really well, mashallah. Okay, now we will move on to the next student, please.
It's N43.
Assalamu alaikum, N43.
Assalamualaikum.
Okay, N43, can you please read Auzubillah and then read this final verse for me, please?
Auzubillah minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qata mallahu
Yeah. Yeah.
la kulu bihim
Well done.
bihim ma wa la som he him
Well done.
wa an Allah an ab rin him
Rehim.
him
Yeah.
khun
Yes.
sin sha watun
Yes.
wa la
Wala.
wala hum
Yes. Well done.
la
Excellent.
bun
Well done.
bun
Yeah.
hazim
Well done. Excellent. Well done. That was really, really good. Is your ID A14?
A43 N43
Oh, N43. Okay, perfect. Okay, N43, that was really, really good, mashallah. Well done. You read that slow and steady. You took your time.
Jazakallah.
Good, it's good. Well done. Just a couple of things. When over here, this, for example, this lam with the madda on top of it, make sure you read this for at least 3 seconds, okay? So read these for at least, this for at least 3 seconds, okay? One more thing again that we've been learning today about kalkala, that whenever you see one of the 5 kalkala letters with a sukoon on top of it, then you have to produce a slight jerk sound, okay? So this would be absarihim.
أبصارهم.
Excellent. Okay, so these are just 5 letters that you have to learn. So as they are over here, there are 5 letters, and an easy way to learn them is by joining these 5 letters together to produce the word khutubujad. Okay, so that's these 5 letters together make the word khutubujad. Okay, so that's one way that you can remember these 5 letters. So whenever you see these 5 letters in the Holy Quran and they come in with a sukoon on top of it, you have to produce a slight jerk sound. Okay, is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, so over here this was a qalqala letter, so you have to say absarihim.
أبصارهم.
Excellent. Over here, when you said this, well done. You said tun over here, but what you have to do is you have to prolong that nasal sound for a bit longer. So you have to say watun.
وطن.
Well done. Same over here. This would not be bun. This would be bun.
بن.
Just make sure these are small things that if you read them properly, it will make your recitation very beautiful. Okay? And one more thing I want you to look out for is that this ayn sound. Okay? You read this as an alif, like you would read how you would pronounce an alif. So you say Allah. Okay? But to get to the next level and be really, really good at this, you need to try and make this sound properly as Allah.
ألا.
Okay? This is something you need to practice. Practice at home with your parents or your siblings, and just try to practice this ayn sound. It comes from the middle of the throat. Okay, ala, sam'ihim, and wa'ala. Okay, all these small azim. These small things that will help you get better and better at your recitation. Okay.
Okay.
Wonderful. Jazakumullah for your help.
جزاك الله.
We're going to move on to the next student, please.
It's A02.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum, A02. A02, can you come a bit closer to the mic for me, please?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Okay. Okay, A02, let's start from the beginning again. And let's see how you do, okay? So read your A'udhu Billah and then start from here, okay?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألف لام ميم. ذلك كتاب.
Okay, nice and slowly, not too fast, okay? So you said this well done, Zali, well done. How would you read this?
لا ريب فيه.
Well done.
هدى للمتقين.
Excellent.
الذين يؤمنون بالغيب.
Yeah.
بالغيب.
Excellent.
ويقيم الصلاة.
What? Again.
مما
Yeah.
رزقنا.
Excellent.
ينفقون.
Excellent. Well done. Very, very good. What's your idea again?
A02.
A02. That was really good. I'm really impressed, mashallah. Just one, two or three things over here. When you these are disjointed letters, but this over here, this lam needs to be joined onto this meme because it's a meme mushaddad. Okay, so when you finish saying the lam sound, you need to join it to the meme. So this would be alif lam meme. Okay, so you need to hold that meme sound in your nose for a bit longer to be able to join the lam and the meme together. Okay, can you try this for me again?
Alif Lam Mim.
Excellent, much better. Well done. That was really good. Over here, I think you were getting a bit stuck on this, but I'll just read this for you again. Zalikal kitabu.
Zalikal Kitabu.
Okay, this is a kaf over here. Okay, and this is a fatha on top of it, and followed by a lam with a sakin. So you join this kaf to this lam. Kal.
Kal.
Well done. Okay, well done. And again, you did really well. You did the correct pausing over here, and you said fi, which is really good. Okay, and you did this really well as well, mashallah. Everything was good over here. Over here, you did not prolong the qi for too long. You said wayuqi. You said wayuqi, but it's actually supposed to be wayuqimuna salata. Okay, so you need to pronounce that qi sound for 2 seconds because it is followed by a ya. Okay, ya with a sukoon. So you need to say this for 2 seconds. Can you try that?
Wayuqi Qalbi.
Excellent. Wayuqi.
Wayuqi.
Excellent. Over here, you need to hold this meme sound in your nose for a bit longer. So you say wa mimma.
Mimma.
Okay, so whenever you see a noon or a meme with a mushaddad or a sakin, you need to pronounce that nasal sound. So wa mimma. Excellent. Other than that, you did really well on this one as well, because this is one of the kalkala letters. So you did excellently, and you said razaqna, okay, which is really good, mashallah. Well done. Okay, other than that, you did really well, mashallah. Okay, A02, jazakumullah for your help.
It's N57.
Okay.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. And 57, have you been listening to the class?
Yes.
Okay, now can you start reading from here? Read your A'udhu Billah and start reading from here, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ظل
Yes.
the nayu
Yes. Excellent. Yeah.
manuna bimala un
Yeah.
zila ilay kava
Say this one again. Ilay. Yes. Ilayka.
ka
Excellent. Yes.
vama la
Okay, darling. Just need time to stop you right there. This is over here. This is a meme with a fatha followed by an alif madda. Okay. So you need to. This is not a lam. Okay. Over here, you did the same thing over here. This is not a lam. This is an alif. Okay. I think you're getting a bit confused, but it's okay. This is an alif. Okay. So what you need to do is you need to pronounce this meme followed by an alif madda for around 3 seconds. Okay. So you say wama.
vama
Same thing over here. Bima.
bima
Okay, this is not bimala. This is bima.
bima
Okay, well done. Do you understand this now?
yes
Okay, well done. Now let's start again from here.
up
Join this together.
Up. Un.
Yes, this is a noon. This is not a ba. This is a noon because the ba would have a dot underneath. So this is a noon. This is an alif with a dhamma followed by a noon with a sukoon. You have to join these two letters together. Un.
Un.
Excellent.
Zila.
Well done.
Min.
Well done.
Cup.
Excellent.
Lika.
Excellent.
Wabilla.
Wabil. Yes. What's this over here?
Alif.
Yes. Well done. So how would you say this whole thing?
Wabilla.
Okay, this wouldn't be wabilla. This would be wabil.
Wabil.
Excellent. This bil stops over here, and then this alif with a standing fatha on top of it is separate. Okay, so this would be wabil akhi.
Wabil. Aki.
Khi. Yes, this is a khi. Okay,
Khri.
excellent. Move on.
Rati.
Excellent.
Hum.
Well done.
You. Kina.
Try that again.
Kina.
No, khi is fine. What's this over here?
Noon.
Yes. What does it have on top of it?
Dhamma.
Excellent.
Kinu.
Excellent. Okay, this noon with a dhamma is followed by a waw with a sakin, so you have to prolong this sound for 2 seconds. Nu.
Kinu.
Well done. And over here?
Na.
Okay, but this is a stop sign over here, so how would you read this now?
Kinun.
Perfect. Well done. Very, very good, mashallah. I'm just going to tell you just a couple of things over here. This is not you, this is you.
You.
Okay, now like I said before, this is like the chair and the person sitting on top of the chair. If you have a chair and you have a person sitting on top of the chair, who talks? Does the chair talk or the person talks?
The person.
Exactly, just like that. Waw over here acts like the chair and the hamza is the person, so the hamza would speak, or the sound of the hamza will be produced. And because the hamza has a sukoon on top of it, it produces a jerk sound because hamza, it's you.
You.
Excellent. Yu'minuna.
Yu'minuna.
Excellent. Well done. That's really, really good, mashallah. Well done. Jazakumullah for your help. We're going to move on to the next two.
Jazakallah.
Jazakumullah.
It's A23 and N55 together.
Okay. Okay, let's do A23 first. Assalamu alaikum, A23.
A23 is here.
Okay, so are you N55?
Yes.
Okay. Can you come a bit closer to the mic, please?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, it's a bit shaky, but I'll try and listen properly, okay? Are you on your way somewhere? Are you at home?
Yes.
Okay, just make sure you're close to the mic so I can hear you properly, okay? Okay, let's do A'udhu Billah and then start from here. Okay, N55, I'm so sorry to disturb you again, but I can't hear your audio properly. I think because there's a lot of background noise. Try speaking to me closer to the mic. Do you know where the mic is on your device?
I don't have a mic, but
Okay. Unfortunately, N55, I can't hear you properly.
should I speak louder?
There we go. I can hear you now. Perfect. Okay. I think you found the mic now. Okay. So start reading from here.
Lu'a ika. Lu'a. Lu'a. Ika.
Okay. This is oo. Well done. This vowel over here, this is silent. Okay. So you will not pronounce this vowel over here. This is just a simple oo, and then la.
Ula. Ika.
This kaf, don't pronounce it for more than 1 second, okay? Because it has a simple fatha on top of it. وَأُولَٰئِكَ.
أولئك
Excellent.
على
Excellent. Well done. Let me move down for you.
هدى من ربهم
Okay, try read that one more time for me.
هدى هدى
Okay.
هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم المفلحون.
Excellent. Well done. That was really good. And 55. Just one thing. I know this is a bit difficult, but I want you to try and get this correct. And everybody at home, listen carefully as well. Now over here, this on its own would be a dun, yes. But because it is being joined with another letter, which is meme over here, meme mushaddad, what you have to do is you don't pronounce the noon, the noon sound, okay? So you wouldn't say hudan, you would say you would join this dal and meme directly, okay? So you would say hudammi.
هدى
Okay, so what happens in this case is that what's on top of the dal? What's this over here? It's tanween, okay? Tanween, okay? And so this is a double fatha, okay? In other words, it's a double fatha. So what happens? These are two strokes of fatha. But because we are joining this dal to another letter, we drop one of the fathas, okay? So it becomes a simple one fatha on top of the dal. So you have to join the dal to the meme like you would do normally. So it would be hudammi.
هدى
Okay, now the meme has a noon ahead of it, and then there's a ra and the ba, okay? So what happens, as we've learned before as well, that if the ra mushaddad comes after a noon sakin, then the nasal sound is dropped, okay? So you would directly say, join the meme to the ra. So you say, hudammir rabbihim.
هدى من ربهم.
Okay, well done. Okay, make sure you revise this again. You've learned this previously in your lessons as well. Make sure you go back, listen to the recordings, so you are well aware of how to correctly pronounce this, okay? Hudammir rabbihim.
هدى من ربهم.
Excellent, well done. Jazakumullah N55 for your help. We're going to go to a final student now.
It's A22.
Assalamu alaikum, A22.
Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, A22, can you please read this verse for me, please?
Okay.
So read A'udhu Billah first.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. هدى من ربهم.
Okay, one second. Let's start from here, okay? Innal ladhina
كفروا سواء عليهم.
This is a ha over here, okay? Him.
أأنذرتهم لم Lam tunzir. Lam tum.
One second. Okay, 1 second. This is Well done. Okay, you forgot to say this. Lam.
Lam.
Well done. Carry on.
Lan tunzir. Zirhum.
Well done.
Yuminnuna.
Okay, well done. You forgot this lam over here. La
La
yu'minun.
yu'minun.
Okay, because you're stopping here, you have to make this a noon sakin. Yu'minun.
Yu'minun.
Okay, quickly, because we don't have time, I want you to repeat after me as I read this final verse, okay?
Okay.
Khatamallahu
Khatamallahu
ala
qala ala
qulubihim
qulubihim
wa ala.
wa ala
Don't prolong the ain. It's wa ala sam'ihim
tam'ihim
wa ala
wa ala
absarihim
absarihim
Ghishawatun
ghishabatun
walahum
walahum
azabun
adabun
azim.
azim.
Excellent. Well done. Jazakumullah. We're going to end our class today with the prayer, and I want you to repeat after me, okay? Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
اللهم ارحمني
اللهم ارحمني
بالقرآن العظيم.
بالقرآن العظيم.
Excellent. And can you read the translation for me?
Oh Allah, have mercy on me through the Great Quran.
Okay, well done. Jazakumullah everybody for your help today. Make sure to keep revising and keep revising this ruku as well that we have learned today. There's a lot of rules that you can look at and revise from this one ruku. And I will inshallah see you again soon. Okay? Jazakumullah for your attendance. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.